Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
And Rama's right here, too.
Yes.
He's in between us, and he's doing his thing.
He's doing Rama stuff.
He is. Please do make sure you're subscribed to all three channels. Come join us over on EEARTS and also on Heart's Home, where we share some, non-Kali Yuga ways of doing things. Talk about Kali Yuga. Savers burned down financial institutions and politicians' homes across Lebanon to reclaim their money, which has been frozen by banks. There's an awakening going on. It's not going on fast enough. There's still a lot of people hooked in and still divided by all sorts of things that should be obvious by this point in time. But again, we've been brought up in a dark age, in a dark control system, and it's not always easy to come to the realization that our minds have been poisoned.
No. I mean, this is some really serious stuff that's coming down the pipes that's going to be very difficult for us to face. But in order to correct it, we have to look it right in the eye.
Nestle expects profits for profits. Yeah, their profits are probably rising, and we know that. But prices for staple items keep rising in 2023. Global food giant issues grim warning. The world's biggest food corporation, Nestle, has said prices for staple items continue to grow during 2023 after a year of price increases that have forced the ordinary consumer into ongoing struggle to buy groceries. Now, the giant increased prices by 8.2% last year and said that wasn't enough to offset the rise in its own costs. David Devine, we were just listening to him, and what he was showing, it's interesting too, and I brought this up before in other videos. Do you realize India and Russia have had banner years, record years in food production? What? Yes! Record years in food production. What's going on right now is, again, they are playing out the role of destroying Babylon the Great. And for those of us that are living in the United States and NATO countries, we are Babylon the Great, according to the script. And again, it's the realization that we're living in a script that's given to us as scripture. A couple of people have clicked off right now, but they can't handle it. It's okay if you can't handle it. We have to wake the world up. This is heading into an abyss. The number of Britons turning to food banks skyrockets amid cost of living crisis. Absolutely. Completely part of the plan. Yes. This is part of the plan too. Ontario, Canada. Never seen snow melt and be this color. Yeah, the toxic chemical rainbows are all over the place. New York, Boston, we've been talking about this. David was covering how there's no way you could grow in these zones. If you're growing food in these zones and eating the food from these zones, it's not going to be good for your health. So basically, the entire Northeast has been kind of taken offline, as well as areas of Canada that are right there on the border with the U.S. They've been taken offline for food production. Not just that. We talked about the fact that the Ohio River flows southwestern into the Mississippi. This is going to impact everything down to the Gulf. This is massive. Is this wormwood? But nothing, fell, did it? Nothing came from the sky. Well, there's always things coming from the sky. We had an impact in Texas. We've had all sorts of asteroids and fireballs. Signs. These are really horrible signs. 13 numbers that show how dramatically we have failed America's children. Well, it's the system failing your children. Now, if we wake up to the system and still keep ignoring it, then we're failing our children. It's time for us to realize what's going on. Survey realized and found that 40% of U.S. parents worry that their children struggle with anxiety and depression. During the pandemic, suicide became the second leading cause of death for U.S. children between the ages of 10 and 14. You know who said that 3 times. We covered that, and some people were saying, well, if you're covering, are you giving power? No, you got to wake up. Throw water in people's faces. If they don't understand what's going on, then you're going to get more of the same. And yes, there are many in the New Age side of things. If you want to use another term, again, New Age, getting out of something that's dark like the Kali Yuga, anything's going to be better than the Kali Yuga, right? It's only a given. And actually, New Age is also a term used in the Bible. It's the birth pangs of a New Age. Again, they get us coming and going. They want to divide us, keep us divided, and they do a good job at it. And it's division through fear. Again, we talked about belief system over on EEARTS. If your belief system is based in fear, then you have a belief system that has been formulated by the dark side to keep you trapped. Suicide is also the second leading cause of death for Americans between 15 and 24. This is crazy. Why is this? It's because the system is horrible. The system is dark. The system is evil. And the system is going to die. And it is dying a horrible death right now. Unfortunately, it's too slow. They're still in power. This is given to us from the guides because they know how to work things. The true power brokers understand how to work things, and they work things so that they stay above the fray, so to speak. They let their minions bear the responsibility, and they let people bear their own responsibility. Again, if you made a decision that leads to your demise, it was still your decision. If you were bullied, coerced, if you were pushed, if you were shoved, but still you could have found another way, well, it was still your decision. So in reality, again, this is what we're facing. These beings are very, very smart. And, yes, absolutely. Is there a government behind the government? Yes. And is there a government behind the government that's behind the government? Yes.
So I was getting a little bit frustrated trying to read the energies, because when we are up against something so large and we're always focused on the problem, guess what? The problem continues to get bigger. And that's exactly what's happening. So I'm wanting answers, I'm wanting understanding, I'm wanting solutions, and these beings have a very, very solid way of hiding their intent and hiding anything that can help us. So a couple of things came up when I was really pressing, wanting information and understanding are the purpose for all of this. One of them is to roll out a new technology that's going to supposedly help cleanse the earth. This is going to be a push for nanotech. This is going to be a push for AI. It's going to be them coming to the rescue to say, hey, we have this new technology and it's going to help clean up this mess. It's going to clean up the waters, and it's going to be it's going to look really good on paper, but it's also going to be one step closer to some type of terraforming. And I can't tell you how exactly. Sometimes you're just not allowed to know certain things, but that's the information that came in. Second, what are we going to do about this mess? We need to make statements out loud. And this is what they told me to say. We want to say this out loud. So if we want to focus on a solution and make that bigger, this is one way we can do it. We have to speak this into the etheric realm. Another shamanic way of doing things to get things to come true, you guys have heard of moon rituals, also burning rituals. If you write this down, state it, and burn it, this is going to put it out into the etheric realm. This is going to start rolling. It's going to start to gain momentum, and we're going to get some kind of help, but we don't get if we don't ask. So to allow karmic responsibility to be fulfilled where it belongs, they said, state out loud, I hold those beings who created these limited bodies. And I said limited in the sense that they limited us. Not that we are truly limited. They limited when they created us.
When they basically genetically manipulated
Yes.
the species, and we're going to touch on that more.
Right. So I hold those beings who created these limited bodies responsible for all pain, harm, and discomfort that has been inflicted to us due to the chemicals used that harm our health. No longer will they walk from these deeds without full karmic repercussion. being transferred back to the one who has created the deed that harms our bodies and the bodies of all living entities on the planet. This is going to help. And I know we have not been taught in our schools how to work and do things in the etheric realm, but the etheric realm is just a breath away. It's right here. It's so movable. It's tangible. We're just told it's not there, so we think it's not. So please check this out, think about it, meditate on it, and let's do something. Let's create more solutions. And this isn't the only one. There's several others. We just have to be creative with ourselves.
So if you guys feel so inclined, follow along again. So this is all about allowing karmic responsibility to be fulfilled. I hold these beings who created these limited bodies responsible for all pain, harm, discomfort that has been inflicted to us due to the chemicals used that harm our health. No longer will they walk from these deeds without full karmic repercussion, being transferred back to the ones that created the deed that harms our bodies and the bodies of all living entities on planet Earth. And again, we could get even more specific. I hold these beings who created these limited bodies and our limited mind and belief set that are always pitting us one against the other. The ones that have divided us up and created these nonstop wars, nonstop violence, nonstop bloodshed. You are responsible for this, and the karma is coming back on you. It's coming back on the Draco. It's coming back on the Anunnaki. It's coming back on the Ijiji. It's coming back on the politicians. It's coming back on the corporate entities. No longer will they hide from their repercussions. May all corporate entities be exposed for what they are. May all the politicians be exposed for what they are. May all those that pose as beings that are out for our health and well-being but are not truly serving us and serving that purpose be exposed for what they are. May all karmic repercussions be transferred back to them that created and have gone along with these deeds that are harming our bodies, the bodies of all living entities on planet Earth, and our children. So again, let's send that intent out. May all those beings who created this power structure, this limited belief set, these limitations in our physical bodies, due to the chemicals used, due to the processed foods, due to the GMOs, due to the toxic air, due to the toxic water, all these beings that are spraying us like insects every day due to not understanding the repercussions of what they are actually doing. May the beings that are actually carrying out the will of these dark entities come to the realization of what they are doing and stop doing it. May all full karmic responsibilities be transferred back to those that knowingly move forward with these deeds. So when we look to DNA, and we've been told, oh, well, the human genome, it's full of DNA. That's just junk. There's junk DNA with sequencing. When we realize there's DNA that's so-called junk, 90% or better, it's not really junk. When we start looking closely, we start asking questions, and you see, of course, you got the Express and the Star and the Sun and all these shock claims. Human DNA was designed by aliens, say scientists. Well, there's the reality right out there in front of you because it is the reality. Is your second chromosome evidence of alien intervention? Actually, yes, it is. They'll debunk it. They'll tell you no. Chromosomal fusing, correcting mistakes, a retrospective on an old debate, and yeah, they are really intently debunking this one now. Scientists analyze chromosomes 2 and 4. Well, why do we have less chromosomes? Why are ours fused? why, do we have telomeres that don't regenerate? Because if our telomeres did regenerate, we would live, oh boy, we would live like they talk about in the different yugas. In the Kali Yuga, it's interestingly enough said that the human lifespan is maxed at 120 and will keep descending on down to less and less. Then the Dark Age, when we go into the Dwapara or the Bronze Age, humans can live longer. By the time we're stepping into the Silver Age, we're talking lifespans of thousands of years. So then we start thinking about, well, Methuselah lived 969 years and those others. Well, how about going into the Silver Age? And we see, the Sumerian Kings list where they ruled for 10,000 years. Ruled for 10,000 years. Well, because we're not under their system. Our DNA has not been tampered with. We are built to live. We were intended to live by the true Creator a very long time. But what would happen if we lived that long? People would wake up. They'd realize what's going on. They wouldn't be able to control us. A short lifespan is part of the programming. In the Golden Age, humans lived hundreds of thousands of years. That sounds crazy, but we really, truly do. We don't have a lot of incarnations in a Golden Age. And then again, time is relative. And many people have tried to peg these ages, with different timelines. And none of us really have it exactly right. And we can't even get it right exactly from the guides because time is kind of relative. It's only experienced because of our physical nature with our limited brains. Every Hindu must know lifespan and height in different yugas. Wait a minute. They teach that? Why don't they teach that in Christian or Islamic or Judaism? Why don't they teach this? The fact that, we might be 5 to 6 feet tall. In the Kali Yuga, we're going to be maybe 8 or 9 feet tall. In the Bronze Age, we're probably going to be more like 10, 12 feet tall, and then up to 30 feet tall. Yeah, we are different sizes in different ages. And again, ultimately, we are souls having an incarnation, as you can see these diagrams. And not everybody agrees on the lengths of these yugas, as some of them are drastically much, much larger than what we feel is right. But there are cycles within cycles. That's another thing to realize. Cycles within cycles within cycles. But here you go. This explains giants, besides the fact that there are many different extraterrestrial beings always interacting with us. Depending on the age, sometimes you will see all sorts of different beings. In ages like the Kali Yuga, you won't see anybody openly because they want to keep us completely locked down. We serve their purpose the most in a dark age. So it's pretty obvious that the governments and the system is serving the true controllers. And again, it's fascinating too, because when we look, there is a direct correlation in other traditions. There's correlation in Chinese mythology. There's correlation in Greek mythology. Yes. Golden Age is before the time of Zeus. Now, when we look to the Greek gods, again, people have a tendency to put them all together, and I've seen Gaia doing that too, where they'll say, oh, well, Osiris and Isis, yeah, they're Anunnaki too. Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, they'll try to tell you Osiris is Enki. Osiris is not Enki. I mean, these again, if you don't have an activated pineal gland and you really can't see things and read energies for yourself, then you just got to go off of what you're told. The goal here is to activate. How do you do that? Well, you got to get off. You don't eat Nestle food, for one. Again, when we see, starting with that original story, that's processed food. No, don't eat processed food. Just cut it out of your life. Make your own food. Right now, we're making a loaf of bread, and what are we going to eat today? Well, we'll have the bread, and we'll also have a salad, and maybe we'll have some berries, and that's just how we eat. I mean, that's what we're used to, and we're happy with it, and we're fine with it. But again, I don't trust, when you start to look at a laundry list of ingredients, this dye, that dye, this and that, artificial, natural flavorings, doesn't even tell you what they are. This is all designed to keep you dumbed down, to keep you a good slave. That's the bottom line. They want you to be a good slave. And Native Americans see, a lot of these same stories too. So when you're looking at these Greek gods, many of them, like when you talk about Zeus, he's not really a great guy, And again, these are constructs too that are given to us by the Anunnaki. When the Anunnaki wanted to give us a message coming through Cindy, obviously Cindy wouldn't go under for them. They said, "We are your gods of your Bible. We are your gods." This is what they told us. There are the gods that are portrayed in the Bible and in Islam. The sons of the gods saw the daughters of men were beautiful, so they took wives whomever they chose. And so the Lord said, "My spirit will not contend with man forever, for he is mortal. His days shall be 120 years. Yes. Again, this is showing you that they've genetically altered our lifespans. If you're still thinking in biblical terms, you're thinking in controller terms. As you see, this is why you will not have any graven images. Why? Because we see. They think that we are slaves. There's the humans. Here's the bigger ones. Humans tied at the neck, hands tied behind the back. Again, slaves coming to serve them when they are directly in front of us. 2035, they will be here in our cities in 2035. At least some of them. They cannot tolerate our atmosphere themselves. It shortens their lifespan drastically. This is why they use hybrids to control us. The whole concept of slavery is something that should never, ever exist. There is no excuse for slavery. Ever, ever, ever. Branding, that's your mark of the beast right there too, right? I mean, where did you get the whole concept of a mark? It's from slavery, and this is all learned from them. Limited manifestation, Anunnaki and human slaveries. Absolutely. They don't want you understanding that you're co-creators. When Vishnu came through Cindy channeling, he said, you're all creator gods. We are creator gods in training. Yes, and in the Dark Age, no. What's the purpose of humans in Islam? Well, Allah created humans to serve him, to worship him, to serve him. That's slaves. That's not our purpose. So, again, no, I've read the Quran a few times through, and not to offend anybody, but it's completely an Anunnakian thing again. When you look at all these depictions, it's all right there for us. It's all right there. Everything that is good in there, because they will give you some good gleamings, is then distorted by the whole concept of original sin and slavery. And again, why would an all-loving God create a place like hell for eternal torment? He wouldn't, because he didn't. No, that's their concept to keep you in line. Colossians 3:22. 3:22 is an interesting number, is it not? Slaves, obey your earthly masters in everything. This is basically saying, the Anunnaki are saying, you're all slaves, obey your politicians, because, and obey the power structure, because we tell you to, because we're coming back one of these days, and you do fear us, so you should fear them too. This is exactly what it's saying. It's putting us out as slaves. Colossians 3:22. Slaves, obey your earthly masters as well as your masters that do not come from earth. And Genesis 3:22. Is that a coincidence? And the Elohim, the mighty ones, the powerful ones, said, "Behold, man has become as one of us." Plural. To know good and evil. And now lest he put forth his hand and eat of the fruit of the tree, and live forever like us. Oh, no, we can't have humans living 1,000 years. We can't have them living 10,000 years. We can't have them living, 100,000 years. No. If they lived as long as us, we couldn't pull the wool over their eyes. Why do you think 322 is under the skull and bones? And you have Prescott Bush, George H.W. Bush, all three of the Bushes that ended up being senator and 2 presidents went through it. as well as, gosh, what's his name there? The tall, yeah. Gosh, he's slipping my mind too. You know who he was, the Secretary of State. You know, and it's not just him. I mean, we have many people, many top-level people that go through these societies. Now, Veni Vidi Vici, who said that? HRC said that, right? She gave a different version of that. And if, you know, again, Jesus is taken from so many. Did anybody ever wonder why you have Christ and Krishna, why they sound so similar? Well, again, you know, it's a rehashing of ancient stories that have been retold in a new light, given to you in a new light, but with a twist that you are a slave. Because you were born, you're born into sin, and so unless you want to just basically be burned alive forever, then you better listen to us. Yeah. Again, this is all based on fear and control. Gnosticism-Sophia, Divine Feminine, Gnostic Salvation. Why were the Gnostics persecuted? Because they said you only got to go within. And they also looked at the God of the Old Testament as the demiurge, as a dark, diabolical, evil agent. Yeah, you know, again, they didn't come straight out and say it's the Anunnaki, but they understood that the God of the Old Testament was a dark, evil being that sends plagues and pestilence and famines and is controlling humanity constantly through pain and suffering. Oh, that's why they were burned alive. That's why they were killed. And there were as many people that were of the Gnostic persuasion. You got to realize that what we have today for Christianity is given to you by the power structure. It's not the original form of Christianity. It's not what Yeshua, who is very real, came to teach. When he said, before Abraham was, I am, or I and the Father are one, he's teaching you self-realization. That's basically Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma 101. Source, God, lives within. Could not be any other way. You don't need a power structure to give power to. You don't need to go tithing. You don't have to go to the church. Fellowship is beautiful, but do your own thing. Develop your own rituals. Have no rituals. It's up to you. You're a unique entity. It's supposed to be that way.
Mm-hmm. How many times when we look into the Bible that we've been given, how many times does it tell you to try something for yourself and see how you like it? See if it works for you. Go within. Use your own heart. Use your own mind. Use your own decisions. But we live in such a narcissistic society, and I don't want to overuse that term because sometimes that word gets thrown around so easily, but we are truly inundated with it. And what that robs us from the ability to know, what do I think about something? You know, does that bother me? Does it not bother me? It takes away our very own soul understanding. It takes away from your journey on this planet. This is your journey. It's not theirs. And they spend a whole lot of time and effort to make sure that you see things from the perspective that they need you to see it from. And that's an awful lot of time and effort. And they call this free education. It's not a free education. It's an indoctrination to allow you to run the businesses and corporations that they need you to run to make sure that they have very cushioned lives, to make sure that they have all the things that they could ever want. It has nothing to do with you. So we do need to, in a sense, get a little more selfish about our ways and how we do things and ask ourselves, well, what do I think about that? And is that right? Is it not right? Is this make me afraid when I read this? Should I be afraid? Why are they making me afraid? Ask that question. Why? Is it benefit you to be afraid, or does it benefit them to be afraid?
This is message, the Black Horse Famine's coming. Be prepared as possible. We told you about this. Now what David was sharing over at DAP 2030, and he was talking about it mostly on Bitchute from what I saw. I don't know if he was wanting to touch this topic on YouTube. But again, it's just horrible. All those people, so many thousands of Amish, and again, yeah, the Amish do believe in a pretty literal Bible, but man, we could learn from them in many ways. Those guys and gals, they understand self-sufficiency, and yeah, there are a lot of things. In many ways, I would say those that are going to really thrive are going to be a lot like the Amish. And I'm going to do some readings from some of the Hindu scriptures to show you guys that you wouldn't even know that it wasn't the Bible I was reading, except for the fact that there is one key difference again, and that's that source, God, is in you. It's in you. And so, that's a big, big realization. That's the biggest point of everything. The point of all religion is self-realization. It's recognizing what's our potential. Your potential is that you are ultimately a creator God in training. And at some point in time in your jiva, your soul's journey, you may be creating universes. Oh my God, that's blasphemy. Yeah, to the slave masters, it's blasphemy. They want you to create what they want you to create. So this was 3 weeks ago, and yeah, absolutely. What just occurred is going to accelerate that. What will 2023 bring? If you haven't watched this, please watch it again. And if you have not watched it, please check it out. Because, we haven't been one of those channels that's been sugarcoating. We've taught you what we know, and we've told you what we get. And we leave it at that. And if it means more people unsubscribe, then they unsubscribe, because we're not answering to people, and we're not doing this for money. We're doing this because we are trying to serve the true creator of this universe and all those souls that he loves. And she, the divine feminine. And the divine feminine is the canvas from which this universe is created. How the satanic draconian AI system creates religions to feed itself from humanity's energies. Please, if you haven't watched this, watch this. Because again, it tells you exactly what's going on. The origins of the human race, Lyran-Draco wars, our galactic neighbors. This was about 10 months ago as well. Check that one out. There's some great information. And we got the little Anunnaki wiki. Why do you think that is? How come not Olympian gods? Why is there not Olympian gods? Why is there not, a Cherokee creation myth or anything? Well, because again, this is too close to home. This is way too close to home. Nobody likes to be called out if they're trying to manipulate things from the backside in the dark. The dark power structure, the Anunnaki, Draco, and Jinn, how they feed on humanity. Thought forms, Allah and Yahweh. Allah and Yahweh are thought forms. When you send your prayers out to Allah and to Yahweh, they are able to intercept these energies if they are fear-based. Now, if your thoughts are coming from just overwhelming love and true feelings of love that's not based on fear and pain and suffering and punishment. Because again, where's the love if everything you do is just simply an act of you're trying to escape being burned forever? There's not love there. That's just fear. There's no love there. The creator of this universe is a being that is an expression of just the purest love you can imagine. The real Yeshua is a being that is well on his way to becoming a creator of universes. I mean, he is of the highest frequency and intention. He's a beautiful teacher and is a great person to emulate and to be like. And so, yes, if we talk about Christ consciousness or Krishna consciousness, this is what we are talking about, being more like the creator. The creator doesn't give us, an eternal punishment for being born. No, this is the power structure. Learn discernment through clearing yourself of everything that brings you down and lowers your frequency. And the number one thing is fear. And why do you think we're heading into famine and war? It's because otherwise there would be too much peace breaking out everywhere and brotherhood and love.
Well, I think a lot of people maybe kind of feel that, we're, taking away their religion, we're taking away their Christianity. But what we are given now is so far from the original Christianity. It's just really not even applicable. So we're just asking you to sit and ask yourself, where does your belief system come from? Does it come from a place of fear? And if so, are you okay with that? Are you okay? And if you are, you are. But I think it's only fair that people recognize what's going on. They recognize, because our soul, we really want to do the right thing. That's innate. That's what's in our soul. And this is, you see these things in the Bible, and they try to get you, serve the Lord God with all of your heart, with all of your might. And that's trying to get you vested in something. Why not be vested in yourself? Why not be vested in stuff that you truly believe in? And why be vested in stuff that you're only afraid of? That's not the way things are supposed to be. Things are supposed to be different, and we're simply trying to shed light on that.
So one more time with this, I hold those beings who created these limited bodies, minds, and belief sets responsible for all pain, harm, and discomfort that's been inflicted on us. And not just us, but again, on all the living entities on planet Earth. You are responsible. These beings are responsible. The Draco, the Anunnaki, the Igigi, the politicians, the royal families, the power structure, all these alphabet soups, they are all responsible. They have twisted and distorted things. They have lied to us, and they have deceived us. May all the karma come back to them, and may the earth be free and clear. And if you are so inclined, I ask for guidance from the creator of this universe. We ask for guidance and protection from the creator of this universe, from the angelic realm, from the archangels, from all the guides, the benevolent beings, from Yeshua, from Krishna, from Buddha, from Kuan Yin, from Isis, Set, from again, Lakshmi, from Ma Durga, whatever you are comfortable with, you can insert. Just realize, though, again, why they have controlled us through certain programming. And again, they're hijacking our powers. It's time for that to end. And it is going to end. They understand it's going to end. But they want to, again, get as many to just say that they want to be their slaves, because there are those that are going to say, well, for me and my family, we will serve the Anunnaki, we will serve the Draco, we will serve the Igigi, we will serve the Pod. This is what they've tricked us into doing. They've tricked us into giving away our power. They've tricked us into giving away our inborn natural right to be creators and to create our own reality, our own power structures, our own belief systems. Take it back. Take it back. So we hold them responsible. We no longer believe their lies. We do not believe their systems, their institutions. We don't trust them. And we ask for freedom for the earth and all the beings on the earth. And we ask for help from all the angelic realm, from the creator of this universe, all of our guides, all of our loved ones that are on the other side watching us, cheering us on right now. We ask for their help too, to help us in these times.
So I hope this really helps start something and gets us on the road of healing, because this will grow, this will expand, and definitely make it your own. One of my biggest problems with channeling information is I'm dyslexic, so as soon as I go to write it down, so much information leaves. But I can tell you, if you make it your own, it's more powerful. It's more powerful. But this is the outline that they gave us, and that's why I'm just so grateful for my husband, because he can fill in those blanks for me. He does help in so many ways, and I'm so grateful for him, and I'm so grateful for you guys too, and all of your effort, all of your help, all of your support, and everyone. I think we have Rob to thank on Patreon. Thank you, Rob. And any little thumbs up, any little bit of anything, any support is really, really helpful right now to help get this word out. And if we have given you golden nuggets, things that would help, we appreciate any help that you can provide back. Thank you.
As always, guys, much love. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.